right, fellas, let's make it happen. Play ball. No. That's it, the game's gone. Wait. Okay, come on, let's go, let's go.
Okay, we are live. Seoul on a very rainy Cinco de Mayo, the 5th of May. Nothing worse than a rain out, but today we all woke up to torrential storms. And it's still raining now on a very damp, gloomy, dark afternoon.
Exactly. I mean, we saw it coming, but we did hope there was the hope at the end that there might be a few hours where we could get a window into play, but Mother Nature, nothing you can do.
The truth is, yesterday it was supposed to rain, and the rain stayed away. And last night we went to the fields, we covered the home plates, we covered the mounds, and if the rain was just off by a couple of hours, we could have squeezed a couple of games in today, but oh well. But this has an effect because it changes the schedule. The games that were scheduled for today get moved to the end of the year. Meaning, next week, everyone has different opponents, including your Lumber Kings, because your Lumber Kings at 1-5 are no longer playing the first place Mean Machine. Now you'll be playing Butter at 2-4.
Wow.
It changes the dynamic completely. Obviously, everyone's going to play everyone. We all know that, but it just changes the way the season comes out. It could be a good little break for the Lumber Kings.
Two teams that need wins.
Two teams that need wins. Very desperate. Especially Lumber Kings, very, very desperate at 1-5, because a lot of teams have come back from 1-5, but 1-7 is a completely different ball game.
For sure, can't deny that.
I don't know if you want to speak to what's going on in your clubhouse. People feeling? Are they feeling the pressure?
I don't think we're feeling the pressure, only because we're not 1-7, 1-5. And people are getting in their reps. The batting cages are booked, I think, from 12 to 4 today. Lumber Kings just rotating in and out. Pitching coaches, batting coaches, fielding practices have been going on for the last month. Team's ready.
The truth is, I was looking at the standings today, and
It's wide open.
you guys, you mentioned the batting cages. You guys score a ton of runs.
We do.
You have 39 runs this year in 6 games. That's, 6 point something a game, 6.5 a game or something. That's, up there with the league leaders. Your issue is you're giving up a ton of runs.
Yes.
And it's mostly the defense, but you made a big trade. You traded Nussi, who's having a very good year offensively. His stats are all there. He's in league leaders in a few categories. And you got Avi Soroya, who is not a great bat, but a very, very good defensive player. Where is he going to be playing on the Lumber Kings?
Where is he going to be playing? He's going to be playing short center.
Okay.
Short center, where he played the last 2 years in the league, and when he started out playing on Butter. Tremendous, fills up a lot of gaps. And we're going to try to limit some runs. You know?
Guys, I mean, if you guys could cut that down, it seems like you could afford to give up a bat right now in order to help on defense.
Exactly.
Now, one of the reasons you could afford to give up a bat is because Nanu Zolta, who promised to have a powerful season, is doing just that. He was drafted later than he's ever been drafted, and he is wrecking the ball this year.
Yeah, he is. From his first at bat, hitting a home run over the player he was traded for, in Teddy Brahe, he's just been smacking the ball left and right.
So, when you look at the league leaders, there's 2 or 3 names that jump out at you. Nanu Zolta is one of them. He's all over there. Then you have David Farka is having a year, like, if the year ended now, he'd run away with the MVP. because he's batting .706. That's first in the league. On-base percentage, .762. First in the league. 3 home runs. That's tied for first in the league. 7 runs. Up there in every category possible. And then right with him or behind him is Nanu Zolta. 7th or 8th round pick or whatever he was taken. You know, he also has 3 home runs. He has 11 hits, 9 RBIs. He's tied for first in the league. He has 2 homers. I mean, it's just, they're both having phenomenal years. One other guy I want to talk about who was either slotted in the 4th or 5th round, I don't remember. I think it was the 5th. Elliot Saka, Captain Elliot Saka of Mean Machine. Now, Stephen Shalou gets all the headlines, but Elliot Saka is having a year offensively. .632 batting average, 9 ribbies, 12 hits. He's top 4 in all these categories, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, everything.
Wow.
So, just something to look at for the mid-season report, if you will.
Yeah, for sure.
Now,
Looks like he's taking his captainship into full stride,
and
leading by example.
It's funny because back when we were deciding who was going to be captain, and we had a bunch of people volunteer to be captain, people were wondering, if Elliot could handle it. He hasn't been captain before, and not only is he handling it, he's in first place, and he's having an MVP type of season.
For sure.
So, when you look at these standings here, you have 3 guys at top: Mean Machine, SmackDown, and the Maccabees, all at 4-2. Is there any one team that you think is better than the rest, or even any of the other teams that jump out at you after 3 weeks?
I'll tell you, I haven't played Mean Machine yet, so I don't know how much I could speak for that team. I've only watched I watched that comeback they had against SmackDown. They look impressive. SmackDown, maybe they're going to be great. The Maccabees, great team. They came together. They didn't really come together the first few weeks. The last time we played them, they had a full team effort, to beat us. But Norman, I gotta say, a team that I haven't watched a lot, but I watched when my games ended, the Phillies.
Yeah.
Tremendous team.
Yeah, the Phillies have it all. A.B. Cohen leads the league in ERA, by the way. He only pitched in 4 games instead of 6, so maybe that helped him a little bit. And their offense is phenomenal. Jordy, Ali, second round pick Ali is having himself a year, league leader in hits. Jordy, Ali, JT, Solly Towel is hitting the ball.
Yeah.
Everybody up and down. It's a very, very long lineup. I know I'm forgetting a couple of guys offhand, but it's a very, very long and deep lineup. And they just added Steven Safdie,
right,
in what I think is a very good move. Speaking of Solly Towel, I know we've been delayed on the Players of the Week this year in that we didn't announce any of the Players of the Week. The reason for that is because after week 1 and week 2, we were having issues with the app. We had all the stats, but we couldn't transport them into the website properly. We figured that all out. All the stats are correct. They're all updated. They've been updated since week 2. Week 3 was almost flawless. So we could review the Players of the Week for each of the first 3 weeks. We have a rainy week anyway. Why not? Week 1 was very tough to decide the Player of the Week because we had a guy on your Lumber Kings, Mars Harari, who hit 2 bombs off of Nady. He went 4 for 7, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 2 runs, but you guys got swept.
Right.
On the other hand, we had a guy, A.B. Jeff Cohen, who had a split with the Phillies. He also had 2 home runs, 3 ribbies, 2 runs. He went 5 for 6. So they had pretty identical stats, but A.B. Cohen got the split. Mars Harari got swept. Hard to give Player of the Week to a guy that got swept. So A.B. Jeff Cohen was the Week 1 Player of the Week. Congratulations. Runner-up Mars Harari. Also in the running, Solly Towel of the Phillies, who went 6 for 7. So he had more hits than both those guys. But of the 6 hits, 5 of them were singles, 1 triple. So he got hurt only because of that. But all 3 of those
flashy.
Not as flashy, and all 3 of those guys really had tremendous, tremendous weeks.
Sure.
The only pitcher that swept that week was Nady, but he didn't have the lead late in either of the games, so tough to give it to him there.
Right.
Week 2, if you want to speak to the player of the week in week 2, from one hit, everybody knows the rules. A 10th or 11th round pick
named Solomon Fallis. Wow, he has a tremendous stat line.
Yeah, so look at this line from week 2.
6 for 6 with 2 doubles, a triple, 1 RBI, and 1 run.
Now, I spoke to Maurice Zakaria after this week. He told me every one of his 6 hits was legit.
Wow.
You know, maybe he got an extra base or 2 from a mishap in the field, but every base hit was a clean base hit. 6 for 6. Hard to argue with that.
Wow.
Solomon Fallis showing the league, showing every captain, including his own, you passed up on me so many times, and here I am, I'm going 6 for 6.
Wow.
And then this past week, week 3, we're going straight to the top of the draft. Steven Shalou in the sweep over Butter. The Mean Machine sweep over Butter. Went 5 for 6, a double, a home run, 4 ribbies. So he ran away with the player of the week honors in week 3. I've been looking for a pitcher to give player of the week to also, but I haven't seen the dominant performance. Maxi Deed, if he it was pretty close this past week against SmackDown.
Right.
And so was Nabi. They were head to head, but they ended up splitting. And so those are your 3 players of the week. You have A.B. Jeff Cohen, Sal Fallis, and Steven Shalou.
I think there's much more runs this year than in years past. You know, you're seeing these pitchers get, you know, like Nabi. How often does he get tagged for 8 runs? Maxi Deed, even my team got. I think we scored like 14 runs. Like, you're seeing an explosion. I think it proves to like the testament of the batters in the league. You know, the talent is unbelievable.
It's funny because coming into the league, everyone was saying that the pitchers were unbelievable because you had Nabi, you had A.B. Cohen, you had Maxi Deed, you had Jeffrey Saka as the 4th or 5th pitcher, you had Mikey Shalom. Like, you know, there was people thought that the pitchers were going to dominate. You also had, with the deep draft, great defensive players playing different positions. Eddie Richty playing second, Hank playing third, for instance. You know, on every team, you have former shortstops. Look at the Phillies. They have Jordy at short center. They have H at second base. These are former shortstops. Every team has a star at third base. So you have good defense, good pitchers, but the hitters are scoring their runs. Couple of small little notes also. It's just some small tidbits that I noticed that I'm sure other people will notice others. One hit, everybody knows the rules, only has 6 walks the entire season in 6 games. That's by far the least amount.
They've drawn 6 walks or they've pitched 6 walks?
Offensively, they've only drawn 6 walks.
Wow, not the recipe to win.
No, not the recipe to win in softball because you will get every other team is getting walked against the same competition. So maybe they're not being as patient. I don't know. The Maccabees have a negative run differential, even though they're 4-2. They've scored 29 runs. They've given up 37. Obviously, that's because
they had that big week. They gave up 20 runs, right?
Yes. So they gave up 20, meaning they only gave up 17 runs in the remaining 5 games.
Right.
That's very strong. That's under 4 runs a game, 3 and change. That's very good because if you throw out that one game, that's pretty good. And White Walkers, talk about being 3-3. They split each and every week. They've scored 30 runs. They've given up 30 runs.
Wow.
So they are really looking average right now. And I'm surprised because I thought they'd be above average.
You were very high on the White Walker team.
I was very high at the White Walker team, and I'm not thrilled with the way they're performing so far. I feel like they should be doing better. They were lucky to get out of Philadelphia with a split last week. So, you know, it's I'm surprised. They didn't play that well against the Maccabees a couple of weeks ago. They don't seem to be there yet. Butter. This team is loud. This team likes to talk about how they're proving people wrong. They took a terrible sweep against Mean Machine. And people are saying that Barracuda has transformed possibly back into tuna.
Wow.
What have you been hearing in your investigative reporting on that end?
Yeah, so in terms of the reports, I know the team is sticking with the Barracuda name, but the league, Norman, is not impressed. You know, they were 2-2, he was pitching well, and then just seemed to unravel. I think they had like something like 7 straight hits or 7 straight men on that just kept rolling and rolling and rolling. And, that's not the way to win. They have a good team offensively, they have a good team defensively. Tuna, Barracuda, whatever it's going to be, has to get it in check, Obviously, next week is huge. You're talking the 1-5 Lumber, the 2-4 Butter.
Funny thing about Butter is they had a lead in their third game of the season. In the first inning, they scored 2 runs. They went up 2-1. They held that lead. They won the game. They've since lost 3 straight games, and they have not had a lead in any of the games. So I don't think they've led in a long time. Also, on the flip side, Mean Machine was down by 4 runs in the last inning or whatever it was against SmackDown. They were down 4-0, a few runs in the last inning. They came back and won that game. They then put a rout on Butter. They're on a 3-game winning streak, and I think they've held leads for quite some time.
Right? Wow.
Do you want to start predictions early in the week?
For next week?
Why not?